Good evening, guys. This is Jason, Kentucky Fried Ham, here with you at US 3786 once again. Today I have a special guest with me, Anthony, my buddy Anthony. I've known him for a long time, but we just recently found out that we're both hams and hadn't talked to him in years. So he's very interested in CW, joined the LICW, Long Island CW Club, and he is coming a long way. So he is ready to get on, well, he's ready to copy anyway. So he wanted to come along today, and we'll see if he's ready to get on the air. I think he probably could, but we're going to give him a little bit of a test, and if nothing else, he just wanted to practice some copy and see how POTA goes. So we're basically all set up. The bands have been really good today. It's a little bit late, but 10 meters is still looking okay, so we're going to see if we can get any bites on 10 meters. Better look here, hopefully. Hide to SWR. That's very weird. Is this, maybe that's my 6 meter knot. Forgot what knot was the first one on my string here. So that must be my 6 meter tuning. So let's see if we can get there's the first knot. There's our second knot. That seems pretty long for 10 meters, but let's see if that looks any better on the SWR meter. Wrong way. Five. That's not too bad.
Didn't seem to change much.
All right. Well, let's go with that. Yeah. Anything under 2 to 1 is fine with me. All right. So we've been listening for a while. Let me speed my keyer up a little bit here. And it is 2050. The other thing you have to pay attention to is, so one activation is one UTC day. So once the UTC time switches over to new activation, so if we get like 9 contacts and it becomes 8 p.m., now it's a new activation, so we failed that first one. So.
All right. Oh, that's good to know.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, 10 meters is starting to wake up again. It's fall, so it's kind of spring and fall. It does really good usually. In the summer, when the sun is really angry, most of the bands just kind of, it's been really rough all summer. And now that it's starting to get into fall, things are kind of waking back up again.
I'm nervous if I'll be able to keep up.
We won't call here for too long because we are getting a little bit close to the UTC day, but just wanted to see a little spider. I could also give it more juice, I guess. We're running 5 watts right now. It looks like a little crab. Look, he's red.
Mm-hmm. You get the little spiders like that all the time.
My son loves jumping spiders. He had a pet jumping spider for a while. It seems like every time I go to a park, one gets on my radio. He sits there and watches me. Let's let's give it the beans here and see if we can raise anybody. Let's try 25 watts. We don't always need to run QRP. I like to, but yes, obviously that's my battery box. I'd like to rebuild it just because it's too big. I have a Talent Cell 12 amp hour battery in there, and the case is just too big. I want to put it in one of the smallest ones of these, the Apache cases, and make a plate that goes on the top and just have all the connections with everything buried below it. But the case is a little too big. Like I said, I could probably take it apart and get to the cells, but I also don't want to burn my house down. So. Yeah, this is a great rig. I know you said you were looking at one of these as well.
I'd considered, yes.
I think the 710 is definitely a better option for that price, especially. Nothing like that existed when I got this. And of course, this was only like 600 bucks at the time. Now it's closer to 7. Let's call a couple more times. Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Go to reversebeacon.net or go to POTA.app and see if I'm spotted on there, if you don't mind.
Battery low.
Of course. Man, the speaker is terrible.
Not seeing yet.
Okay, let's go ahead and let's go down to 17. Again, you know, we're kind of chasing. Let's go down to 15 because that'll be the next couple notches.
We had 10 meters. Oh, there you were.
Oh, it was there?
It was there.
Okay. What was the decibel rating?
6 dB20.
Okay, well, 6 is not too bad. It's not great, but
Where'd you move to?
I didn't move yet. I went back since I was spotted. Oops. Yeah, this speaker, that's the one thing I usually use, this portable speaker, because that thing is terrible. I don't know if I heard somebody. I'm gonna have to plug this in, hope the battery lasts. What's that QRZ question mark, which means who's calling me? Sorry.
Yeah. Didn't quite make it.
Yeah, I hope the battery in this speaker lasts because it's this thing's terrible.
You don't have a way to hook it into this either, do you?
No. I don't have my USB battery bank with me either because this is USB-C, but wow, man. There's a QSY to 15 meters. Ooh. All right, so let me go move my notch here, knot on my antenna. There's 10, 12, 15. .5. So that's the thing. I tuned this vertical in my yard initially when I put the knots in there, And obviously ground conditions and
Yeah, it's
moisture and all that stuff's going to change it a little bit, but it's usually pretty darn close. I'm actually going to slow down a little bit just to give you a little bit of a leg up there.
because once you sit so far, there's no
This
doing
is
good to get a character in here.
this is 18 words a minute, so. My first contact's probably going to be after 2100
Because they're going to wait.
because we've got 2 minutes until 9 UTC. So we've got like a couple hours to get full activation in. I've been out here before just working away and not paying a bit of attention to look up. I'm like, crap, it's nighttime. This park's supposed to close at sundown, but they usually don't close the gate or anything, so. So what I usually try to do, right now I'm not running QRP, but if I'm running QRP, when I start calling, I usually try to be close to the QRP calling frequencies on each band, because that's typically where those kind of ops like to hang out. This is actually close to the Long Island CW, LICW challenge frequency, so. I also have a nano VNA with me if I needed to tune this up.
If you really needed to tune it good.
Yeah. Because this radio has obviously the SWR meter, but a lot of little QRP rigs don't. So if it's something I'm worried about, like the QMX, it does have an SWR meter, sort of, but the big thing is it has protection, so if it's over 3, it won't transmit. So I'm not worried about it. Like some of my other radios, I don't want to transmit blind without looking and, like my TR35, which I built, doesn't have any kind of indication or anything, and I could blow up the finals on that guy. Because it does, like this one will fold back. You saw maybe it said high SWR at the beginning.
I didn't actually notice that right at first. Cause
It'll pull the power down if it's too high, so it protects the outputs.
I'd imagine that one I've ordered will do that too.
Yeah, the 710, yeah, it will. Yeah, this is, I typically like to try to just, depending on what time of day, like I said, we're kind of getting into the gray line territory, or maybe we could get some of these 15, 17 meter contacts. But nice. My buddy Forrest, I hunted him on 15 this morning at his activation, and he's gonna be in Utah, but I didn't hear the signal report.
Okay, that was a 3 that I heard.
Yeah, it's funny because Utah is a pretty rare state. There's not many ops there, and I don't usually get many POTA contacts. And Forrest recently got his license, and he's hooked. And so every single day he's in a park. And so now people have been getting Utah like crazy, when before it was pretty rare.
And it's all the same person.
It's all the same guy. He goes to, there's like 600 parks in Utah, and I think he's already been to over 100 of them or something.
There's a bunch of good parks out there.
Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. We've only got 140 POTA parks in Kentucky and a few SOTA summits.
Yeah, I didn't know there were any until Dave posted about Pinnacle.
Oops. Yeah, there's a few drive-ups. One of my other friends, Scott, he's at this park pretty much every day. They live right up the road. Him and his wife, they're both hams.
The one I was talking with earlier.
No, that's Chris.
No.
I'm Chris. Wow, that's Chad.
Yeah, it's Chad.
Chris, where did I get? I don't even know anybody named Chris. But he's a big soda guy, and that's why his wife got licensed, because he would make her climb to the top of this mountain, and then she'd have to sit there and be like, "What do I do now?"
So she got licensed. So she could have something to do.
Yep. But he does a lot of that. He's at this park pretty much every night. They did a 5-park rove today. But he was telling me there's quite a few drive-up summits here where you can drive. You're not allowed to operate for soda. Like, I could be in my car with POTA, but with soda, you have to be completely decoupled from your vehicle, and you have to be within, I think it's 100 meters or 100 feet of the actual summit marker. So it's a lot harder than POTA, and you can only activate a summit once a year, whereas I could activate this park every day if I wanted to. So it's much more difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna take some training. Cause even me, I'll keep up with your CW. I don't have a problem with that. With your CQ.
Well, I mean, I am going faster than you're used to. So
Yeah.
let me get to 17. Probably no luck here either, but I don't have to try, right? Whoa.
Still hot.
There's 20. Oh yeah, I didn't go far enough. Yeah, don't transmit when I'm over there, because it's 25 watts. That would hurt. I mean, it hurts at 5 watts.
Sorry about that.
No worries. All right, so
One thing I'm noticing here is now I'm not seeing the SWR meter moving.
because it's at perfect 1-to-1.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing with the cordway vertical. I mean, if you spend the time, you can get pretty much a perfect match every time. And it's a resonant antenna, so all my power is going into the air and not in a tuner or something like that.
Not feeding back into your radio.
Yep. Man, they got buses and everything. This would have been a neat event to come check out. I didn't realize this was happening. Let me see if I'm spotted anywhere. That's the problem with using my phone, is my cameras. I can't I can't use it simultaneously.
I started 4 minutes ago, but that's on 10 meters. We're now on
17.
17.
If you want, you can just manually respot me on 18.078.
Let's see, you said on 18?
Yeah, 18.078.
All right, there you go. 17 meters. There it is.
Did you do it or did it get me?
It got you.
6 dB again. Oops, B.
Is it W something?
Yeah, W0GB.
that.
Wow.
Actually caught the Colorado. That's all I've caught.
All right, well, we got 15 and
Get
17.
something out of it.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you start. You get as much as you can, and
See how much I can identify.
was that I? I think that's what I said.
I didn't catch it.
So he sent his call. I came back to him. He sent DE in his call again, which means he thinks I got his call wrong. So I said W4IFI question mark, and he said Roger. So then I gave him the rest of it. 17 meters is a really fun band. You can get a lot of DX on it, but they're that's 10 over 9.
That's almost I was keep up with it. But I couldn't quite lock in.
Yeah, that's KY3G Taylor. He lives right there. So, but yeah, 17 is a really fun band, but there aren't as many people on it, so sometimes it's hard to get contacts, but just about every time I'm on 17, I get SM2 SUM from Sweden. So we'll see if, it's usually in the mornings when Europe's awake, but we'll see if he's up late or something tonight. All right, so I call QRL. Is anybody using this frequency? Also tightened up my filter a little bit. I usually like to run it a little wider because with CW, like if I'm on phone and 10 people call me back, you can tell from their voices, right, that they're different people, and you'll get little pieces of a call sign. But the way CW works, if 10 people call you, you just hear beep, just a long tone, so there's no way to tell anything. So on CW, it actually helps if the other stations call you a little bit off frequency, because then they'll sound higher or lower and they stand out. So I like to run my filter a little wider when I'm doing an activation, because that gives people room to spread out rather than be all on one frequency.
Right on with you.
Right. But in this case, the band's kind of noisy, so I did tighten it a little bit. I'm at 250, which is, you know, still plenty of room. CW signal's about 50 hertz wide, so. Most POTA activity you'll see is on 20 and 40. I mean, those are kind of in general the workhorse bands of amateur radio anyway. 20's open somewhere all the time, and 40, you know, you get a lot of local stuff.
Yeah, that's where I started with the antennas because of that. Because that's where all my stuff's been, except for the one for you.
Yeah.
That 1 2-meter gun died.
All right, so it's been 5 minutes. I'm going to move down to 20. change pages to 20 meter CW. And go way down the band here. So 14060 is the QRP frequency, so I usually try to get, I don't want to be right on it, but I try to get
Some
somewhere.
people might be wanting to use it for something else.
Exactly. So I try to get close, just so if somebody's scanning in that area, they'll hear me.
I'll let you check it then.
Nope. All right, so I need to go higher, longer. It's good. Not gonna stress over it. Man, I'm getting too old to get into this table.
Okay.
Getting it?
I started to get part of that because I was expecting an L on the end of it. I wasn't expecting the question mark.
Gotcha.
Like, why doesn't that sound like an L?
I love question mark.
And then I'm like, okay, because I hadn't really heard question mark too much.
Oh, you'll get used to it though, because I sure send enough of them. I like it too because it sounds like a question. Did a did it?
Okay, that might help me remember. I'm starting to pick that out.
Ah. Great signal. I think he's in Idaho. .559. Yep, Idaho. North Carolina.
I haven't been able to identify enough to be able to piece anything together.
Yeah, North Carolina on 20 meters is Arizona.
Okay.
Florida. Massachusetts. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Activated.
I am struggling to keep up with that.
Utah, that's Forest again, Cass 7 QCF.
I barely could even hear it was there.
Oops. Yeah. Texas. That was a good little run there. Oops.
Well, I got very little of it.
Oops. That's fun.
That's what I'm here to try.
Dominican Republic.
I need practice.
Oops. That's one thing about this key. If you're heavy-handed, I'll hit it and it'll bounce the other pedal. And Minnesota. So we've got
GIK?
CIK. Texas.
What's the NN bit that I'm getting?
What was it?
It sounded like an NN in there somewhere.
My goodness. 599-599. Kentucky, KY. Back to you. Florida. BK, back to you. Then I'll say thank you.
Okay.
73. Then dit. KE. That's a cool call sign. KE7KE is really cool. Another Idaho. Yeah, this is the thing with POTA. It's so formulaic. Once you get the formula down, it's, you know, you really don't have to copy much because you know what's coming, and that helps a whole lot, right? So basically, I'll hear a call sign. I'll go back to their call sign. They'll come back and they'll say good evening, good morning, you know, GM, GA, GE, depending on whether it's morning, afternoon, whatever. You are, which sometimes is sent you are, like a pro sign. Whew, man, that speaker's terrible. I heard a Z. B-A-Z, I think. Nevada, I think he said. It's a tough copy, this stupid speaker.
Also a weak signal, wasn't it?
It was a weak signal, but I mean, it may just be my old ears, but I cannot hear that hardly at all. I'm really trying to think. I don't think I have my USB bank with me. I should always keep it in my bag, but
Yeah, I've got one, but it's in my camera bag at the house.
back to me, but Utah. So it's V78K. So this is British Columbia. So again, Dominican Republic and British Columbia.
D in it.
I think you said New Jersey. Wow.
Thing is, I'm not even sure to even ask you the questions I've got. Unless they're relevant. Which is when it gets fun, right?
It's fading out. What was this called? S. Man, he's weak. QRP, he set 7.2, which is what QRP guy said instead of 7.3. So
most of these I can't follow enough to even figure out where we're at in the Q cell.
that's how it is. I'm going pretty fast too. I mean, I typically run 2022 at 18, but
That's to a minute.
I think that was a... That's what I thought he said. Couldn't read my writing though. I think he said he was QRP, but he's got a great signal. Main.
This is definitely being practiced, but man, I feel like I'm climbing a cliff. Yeah, you got a visitor.
Yep.
He wants to learn Morse too.
What I was gonna do, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, turn up the monitor level a little bit, my own side tone. I think I might go down to 40, and then we'll do
This
some.
here,
This?
the NN
Yes.
on that. What is that?
So we use in CW what are called cut numbers. So instead of saying 9, which is da 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 dit, N for 9.
Ah, okay. That's what it was. That's one of the things that was messing with me.
That's CFF. Oh my goodness. Watch that not even be right. Yep. FKF. And for AJ. Over. All right, so you want to maybe move down a couple bands, get a few more contacts, and then switch to voice, and we can do a dual activation.
I'm following your lead. I know I definitely have not been able to keep up with 90% of this.
All right, well, here's what we're gonna do. Let's reduce our power down to 5 watts. Let's make a couple more calls. If nobody hears us, we'll move down a band. That's one way of reducing your reach. And I'm not going QRT, but
I had a WCN out of that.
close, I think. CDN. Texas with 5 watts.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know if my friend left, if that was him or what.
He can go on about his life now.
He was trying to learn CW.
In zero?
Mass, NQ. And he's QRP too. Oh, he's in a park, actually, park to park. Yeah, so he said, I was talking to you, so I didn't catch his park number, but he said P to P and then his park number. I thought he said QRP because I just heard the RP, but so he was at a park. So that's the cool thing about POTA too. I don't know how much you've looked into it, but I'll get hunting and activating credit now for that contact.
See, previously I'd never logged park numbers because I wasn't at a park.
Right.
And I wasn't even in the system, so.
Well, hunters don't have to log anything other than just for your own use. But if I'm hunting POTA, I do in the notes field usually put the park they were at.
Yeah.
Just for my own reference, because I love to do paper QSL cards. And so like if I get a QSL card from somebody, I'll look at my log and be like, oh.
I can show you. I gotta just find where my logs are. I think there were a couple that I tried to log the park I was at.
Oh, I'm getting a cramp in my thumb. All right, so what I'm gonna do for a little bit here is I'm gonna go down to 30. Let me go retune the antenna. And now I'm gonna have to bring the coil in because anything less than, or anything more than 20 meters won't work. All right, now we're on 30 meters.
I'd say that kind of thing, I can imagine it being a lot of fun working through those pileups like that.
Oh, it's a blast.
That's what that was, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a blast. This is why I like activating. Like when you're at home and you're hunting, it's fun, but it's hard, right? To go find this guy and compete with the stations that have a 10 element beam and 1,000 watts. If I'm out here, I'm the DX, right? People are coming to me, so it's much easier to make contacts.
Let's see, which one did you go to? You went
30
to
meters, I'm at
30.
10.117. He's in Indiana. He's a QTH in Indiana. these were all 5 watts. So he sent QTH Indiana.
So they come back with their call sign. You confirm their call sign, then they come back with the signal and QTH, right?
Yeah, so basically I call CQ, I get a pile up of calls, I pick one and I call them back. They usually say good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are, signal report, 2-letter state abbreviation. DX stations usually don't say anything about location. And then they'll say BK, which means back to you. Then I say BK, which means back to me. And then I'll basically give the same information. So I'll say good evening or thank you or whatever, their signal report. So his call sign 579 Kentucky. Thank you 5. I didn't actually hear. New York, I think. Thank you, New York 72. Good evening. 599. Kentucky. Back to you. Back to 59. Vermont. EEI. That's a cool.
I thought I heard an I in there.
Oh my goodness. Tennessee. Yeah, see that call's just too fun to want to slap the key, and then this one it kept hitting the other, so I would go dit dit, but it would go dit it da instead because it would slap the other paddle. I could also tighten up the tension, but that's such a fun call. EEI, N5 EEI.
RW, right?
Yep.
North Carolina?
Yep.
I?
Mm-hmm. This is a blast. I have this park, for some reason, I have so much trouble getting out. I've had so many failed activations from here, and so many I sit here for 2 hours and make 10 contacts. But I've got 2 log pages filled up so far because I've got half of another page on the other side. So
yeah, it's just, if I wanted to come to one for practice, I think I've come to the right one.
this is definitely, you get a lot of practice here.
Oh man, and it's being heavy.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, you're early.
But you can tell. I think I'm starting to pick up some of them.
Mm-hmm. Even if you grab a couple letters in a call, I mean, that's good, right? I mean, that's.
Well, you've heard me confirm with you some of the stuff I'm thinking I'm hearing. And so far, when I think I've heard anything at all, it's probably right. That's what I noticed when I'm doing on the practice page or in the ARL files.
Mm-hmm.
If I hear anything at all, I'm probably right.
Yeah.
But I don't hear a wrong letter very often, but there's a lot of stuff I miss.
Right. The key thing, I don't know if you've been watching me as I log, this is one of the reasons I love paper, because one of the key things you need to learn really early is to miss fast.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't get a letter, instead of going, was that da or da did, or was that an N, or because then you miss everything else. If you just let it go and move on.
Well,
and so what I do is I'll write down everything I heard, and then you can go back when you ask them for fills.
well, you see what my notes page
Yep,
looks like?
that's exactly right. So when you go back and ask for fills, you've at least got most of their call sign.
Yeah,
And then you can go back and make sure as they're sending you again that, yeah, I missed these letters, but these were right. The other thing too, the nice thing about POTA is we exchange signal reports and states and all that stuff. The only thing POTA specifies is you have to exchange call signs. So if I send my call sign and he answers me, that's a contact. If I can't send him my signal report or I can't hear him on the return, it's still a contact because we exchanged information. So that's nice too, because if you don't quite get it all, like there are places here where I've missed the signal reports, those are still valid contacts. I think I'm gonna go down to 40.
Yeah, there's no way I'm not ready to get on the air, but this has been definitely a learning experience.
Well, hopefully, if nothing else, it's been fun to get out in the nice weather. And
it has been.
let's move the antenna down to 40, make a few, and then we'll move to sideman.
Now, part of my difficulty with being able to keep up with it too is it's at a speed that I'm not used to.
That's
working.
true. Yeah, I could be nice and run slower for
I
me.
mean, 12 is actually fast for me, but I'm starting to be able to catch it. So, but then again, the practice at the speed is good too. And there's been a few that
Right.
have been slow enough that I can keep up with.
And that's one thing too. Like,
There's been a couple that they come in and I start to be able to breathe. Yeah.
if somebody comes in slower, I try to slow down. This radio is not the easiest. It's also not the hardest to change speed. So if I can't change the speed, I'll add more Farnsworth. So I'll leave my key speed the same, but I'll add spacing between characters.
Yeah. And that's still pretty high SWR, isn't it?
It's under 2, it's probably 1.8. But again, that's one thing I think so many people are fixated on is, oh, my SWR is not 1-to-1. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't care. If it's not going to damage my equipment, yeah. I mean, you're losing at a 2-to-1, you lose 11% of your power. So, I'm running 5 watts. So, what's that, half a watt? Okay, that doesn't make any difference.
But like when I've been browsing HF, I'll look for somebody calling CQ, and what I'll do is I'll sit there and listen for a moment until I've got their call sign down. I'll copy their call sign out before I even respond to them.
Yeah.
Because that means that the signal's going to stay strong enough probably to be able to complete the contact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And it gives
that's
time if they're working a pile up or something.
Yeah. That's the really nice thing about being on the hunting side of it is you can listen until you're confident you know what their call sign is. Whereas here I have one shot basically. I mean, I can ask over and over, but sometimes hunters will get tired and move along if I can't copy them enough. If I ask them 2 or 3 times and they don't get it, some guys will move. Some will work it out because they really want that contact. A lot of POTA guys are looking for, I need every park in every state, or I want, you know, whatever they're looking for, some award. And there's actually a really cool browser plugin called, I'm not gonna remember the name here. Oh crap, I can't remember the name. But it's a browser plugin, and when you're on the POTA site, it actually adds all this little information to each of the cards, and it'll tell you you've hunted this one 10 times, or you need this one for a new state, or this one will give you this award or whatever. So as you're hunting, you can look at the page and see, oh, I need that guy. And if it's somebody you just want to hunt, you're like, okay. But if I see that I need that guy for an award, I might try extra hard and stick with it. I'm not really an awards chaser. I log in probably every couple months and like, oh, hey, I've got some new awards. Cool. I wonder what that was for. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock, which means it's 6. That's probably still a little early for 40, I guess.
Yeah, generally I think it wakes up about 8.
Yeah.
No, 6 might do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting, we should get some local contacts, I would think, but I'm only running 5 watts too. All right, I tell you what, let's do this. All right, guys, so I think we're gonna go ahead and shut down. We got plenty of CW contacts. Anthony and I are gonna do a 2-op sideband activation here and use this thing. I haven't used this in a while. I'm not even sure if I remember how.